Hi, Tim Kinzer here with DEMA Engineering. Today we are going to learn how to program an Aurora laundry chemical delivery system. All right, let's get started. Okay, I want to go ahead and start programming our Aurora laundry dispenser using our app, our DEMA Connect app. I'm going to go into that DEMA Connect app now on my iPhone. I just opened it up. I need to connect to the dispenser, so I'm within vicinity of the dispenser. So I'm going to go ahead and press Connect to Dispenser. Now I'm going to go ahead and choose my dispenser. In this case, my dispenser is labeled DEMA here. There would be more labeled here if I had more dispensers, but I only have one within range. So I go ahead and I hit that, and I'm going to have to go ahead and put in my passcode. Now it happens to be 4 zeros since it's straight out of the box. So I can either put in 4 zeros like I'm doing right now, and then hit submit. So now that I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and go right into Pro Access. So now I'm in Pro Access. I have a number of things I can do, but we're just going to work on our basic programming today for a few formulas for our pump stand here. So I'm going to go right into pump stands. Now in this Pro Access, I only have one pump stand connected. If I had more, I would see a bigger list here of more of them, but I just have the one. So I'm going to go ahead and go into that pump stand. So now I'm here, you can see that I have some choices. The first thing I could do is I could relabel that pump stand, which I'm going to go ahead and do. I would like to go ahead and give it a new name. I'm going to call it DEMA 1. Now you can label these anything you want. Often it's not unusual for clients of DEMA to label them for the name of the account that they're at. Whatever makes sense. It's just simply a way for you to personally identify the pump stand. So now that I got that done, I'm going to go ahead and go down to configuration. So now that I'm in configuration, I have some choices here I can be making. I can look at my operation mode. I'll go ahead and click on that. You can see that I have formula, select, relay, and sequence. Sequence mode is like operating from a single trigger source, such as the drain valve on a laundry machine. Relay mode is where you'll have multiple triggers, but you're programming the laundry machine to send a signal for a specific time, and the pump's going to run one-to-one with that time. So you're basically programming your formulas on the machine. But on formula select, which is what we're going to use today, in that mode, it allows me to use individual triggers, and I program all of my volume for my chemicals for each formula into the Aurora. It's probably the single most popular way of using the Aurora. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. And I go ahead and hit done. Right below that, I have my flush time. I'll make a minor adjustment to it. I want to go ahead and make that at 30 seconds. You simply need, once you select a time and when you test it, you need to make sure that it's long enough to deliver the chemical, but not too much extra time. I have my flow meter already turned on. I can toggle that on and off here. I do want it on because I am using the DEMA CMS system which has a flow meter that allows me to automatically measure chemicals. So I'll just be able to program my unit in ounces, which we'll get to here in a moment. My machine capacity is my next thing I'm going to look at. I have 100 in here. I'll go ahead and make that a 125, just assuming I had a 125 pound machine. And I can just go ahead and press anywhere to get out of that on the screen. And that 125 pounds will help with the data reporting and such. That'll be used when you're looking at different measurements, depending on what exactly you're looking at. So it's good to go ahead and put it in. So then I can choose my units. I'm going to go ahead and hit that, and I can look at my choices: milliliters, ounces, and seconds. I'm going to go ahead and leave it at ounces. My default formula, I'll get to that in a little bit, but that is where I can choose a formula that I've written. Perhaps I choose a color safe formula, so that way it always defaults back to this color safe formula when it hits the load count pump. The reason you would do this perhaps is to assure that if somebody forgets to change the formula from the previous wash cycle, they don't throw such personals into a bath of wash that has bleach, for instance. So there's lots of different reasons you could use default formula. Bleach pump. I'm going to go ahead and select my bleach pump. I have a 4-pump system here, and I'm going to go ahead and assign my number 3 pump as my bleach pump. This is not absolutely necessary, but what this will do is it marks that pump as a bleach pump, and it really doesn't allow that pump to run coincident with any other pump. Um, so that's the main reason for it right there. Trigger time. I'll go ahead and click on that. I'm going to leave it at 5 seconds, but you can adjust. This is the qualifying time. So right now, if I leave it at 5 seconds, I'm basically saying that I have to have at least 5 seconds trigger signal before a pump is actually going to operate. I can set an install date. This is a really nice feature. It uses the calendar on my phone. So now I've marked this down the file in the dispenser. Anytime anybody looks at it, they're going to see that it was installed on August the 19th, 2021. But on the AFS mode, I'll go ahead and turn this on momentarily just to show you that I can. What I'm doing here is I'm assuming that I have a trigger signal that I can program. I hook up my Aurora Connect to that a certain set of wires, and based on that trigger signal, I can change formulas. So at the beginning of each wash cycle on the laundry machine, I can program in a signal at a certain length that will choose a formula for me automatically. It's a very popular way. Your other means of selecting formula will be using the DEMA Aurora Pro Select, which is a handheld remote formula selector that can be mounted at the front of a laundry machine for manual formula selection. But today I'm going to assume I have the auto formula select option going. And then below that is a way to calibrate the auto formula select. I'm not going to be doing that. Again, I would cover that in another instructional piece. It's very rare that you would have to actually calibrate the auto formula select mode. So now that I've made these choices, I'm going to scroll back up to the top, and it's very important to hit the save button here. So I do so. It's actually communicating with the Aurora and saving the information in the Aurora for me. So now that I'm back to this screen, I can take a look at my pump configuration priming. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and hit the save button once here, just to go ahead and save what I did. Then I'll go back into the pump stand, and now I know for sure I have everything saved. So I'm going to go into the pump configuration priming now. Now that I'm in the pump configuration priming, I can choose each pump, and I can provide a name for it. We have a nice list here you can choose from. I'm going to use detergent. I can also adjust the speed of the pump. If you have a very viscous chemical, you might choose to go to a slower speed. It might pump more efficient. But in most cases, you're going to be able to leave this at 100%. The other thing I can do here is I can choose a different trigger signal that will actually drive the pump. I am going to leave it at 1 because that's my intention, but know that you can do that. And then, of course, I could calibrate the pump, which I don't need to do that because the CMS is going to take care of, measuring the chemical in ounces for me. So I'm basically done here. So I'm going to go ahead and go on over to pump 2. And in this one, instead of choosing from the list that I could do, I'm going to go ahead and actually give it a name, a unique name. So I'm going to just call it D for DEMA, and then I'm going to go ahead and put it in as brake. So I have a detergent and brake compound in this particular example. And then I'll go and I'll leave my pump speed alone and my trigger alone. So I just simply repeat the process for the other couple of pumps. Go ahead and choose my bleach pump here. Leave my speeds and everything alone, my trigger alone. And then I'm going to choose my last and fourth pump here. And I'm going to choose my sour soft. And again, I'll leave my pump speed alone and my trigger input alone. As you can see, I can also prime my pumps. If I did calibrate my pumps, all of my red on the left would actually turn to green. Once we start using the CMS and it starts measuring, those will start to turn green for us. But right now, we don't need to worry about that. I'm going to go back now by hitting the top left arrow button there. And I'm going to go ahead and hit my save button again. Sort of get into a habit of doing that just to assure that, and I hit my pump stand button again to get back into this. Just want to make sure that I'm covering everything and saving it. So now I'm going to get into formulas. So I press formulas. And of course I have no formulas there. But I do have the plus button at the top, and that will allow me to go ahead and add a formula. So I'm going to go ahead and add a new formula by hitting new. So now that I got a new formula started here, I'm going to go ahead and give it a name. I got a list of names I can use, so I think I'll use Sheets White. Now again, I could tap on that and put in my own name by typing on my keyboard here, but I'm going to stick with my Sheets White for right now. So I can go down, there's my formula number, I'm going to leave it alone. It automatically gave it number 1 since it was the first one, but I could change that again by tapping on that field. I'm going to go to the formula lockout, which I'm not going to use, but if I did click on that, I would get a keypad as you see. I could plug a number in and it'll be in minutes. And that's sort of a system to lock out trigger signals after it gets the first one. I'm not going to be using that today. I'll cover formula lockout in another instructional piece, either in writing or video. But let's go down to the load count pump. So I have a 4-pump system, so I'm going to leave it at 4, but I always suggest using the last pump that's going to be fired in a specific wash cycle and formula combination. So for instance, if I am, let's say I'm going to be doing mop heads, well, my pump 4 is sour soft. Most likely you're not going to be putting sour soft in with mop head. So I would not use pump 4 as my load count pump, but perhaps pump 3 if I am putting bleach in with it, or maybe even the brake pump itself, because we may only use detergent and brake. It just really depends on how you process the mop heads in the laundry machine. So load count pump's going to stay the same for me here. I just sort of hit somewhere on the screen to try to get back out of that, and I did. Now I get to go in and actually write the formula for this formula. So I'm going to go ahead and hit my set pumps, and now you can see my pumps. I have three different levels and one in a delay setting. The levels are different charges in the same wash cycle. So perhaps I'm going to put some detergent in on a pre-wash, and then that would be level 1, and then put detergent in on a main wash, different amount, that'd be level 2. So you'd have to program the laundry machine to supply a trigger in each of those desired wash baths. So, but I'm only going to be doing level 1 today, which is probably the most popular method, is just to go with 1 level. So I will go ahead, these are going to be in ounces. So I'm going to go ahead and put in 3 ounces of my detergent. And then I'm going to the brake, and I'm going to go ahead and put 2.5 ounces in there. So my point being is that you can put it in tenths of an ounce, no problem. I'm going to go down to my bleach, put in 2 ounces, and I'm going to go to my sour soft and put in 1.5 ounces. And now that I have those done, I move back. I'm going to hit my upper left there, the back arrow button. I hit that. And now I can go ahead and save to program. And now I've written my first formula in my Aurora. We'll get to doing some more formulas here in a moment. Okay, let's continue to add some formulas. I'll hit my plus sign, new formula. So I got to choose another name. And this time I'll do Towels White. I got my formula 2. I'm leaving my formula lockout alone. I'm looking at my load count pump. I will go in and make that a 3 because maybe I won't be putting my sour soft in on this one. Just as an example, I wanted to show how I get that done. And then I'll go ahead and set my pump volume. So I'll go ahead and put 3.5 ounces of detergent, 2.5 of my brake, and 2 ounces of my bleach. And now I'm not going to put anything in on my sour soft since I've decided I'm not using it. And I've also set my load count pump to 3. So now I'm going to move back up, hit my left arrow button here. And now as you can see, I got towels, formula 2, I have a load count pump of 3. I've already done my pump volumes. So I just hit save to program. Always remember to hit that save button. And there I am. So I'll write one more formula for my Aurora. I'll hit my plus sign. Now go ahead and give it a name. Let me go ahead and choose one. Let's go ahead and choose blanket spread. So again, I think I'm not going to be using the sour soft again. So I'm going to go ahead and set this to 3. And so now I'm going to go ahead to set my pump volumes. On this one, I think I'm only going to use 1.5 ounces of detergent, 1.5 of my brake. I'm not going to put any bleach in. So actually I will put some of the sour soft in though after all. 1. We'll go with 1 ounce. Now I got to remember that actually I'm not using any bleach, so I am going to change my mind on this, and I'm going to come back and make an adjustment on my load count pump. So now that I have that set up, I have my third one set now. I'm going to go ahead and hit save, and I'm back. Now I've written 3 formulas. So now that I got my 3 formulas programmed in, I've done some configuration settings on my Aurora. I really got the basic system set up. This is ready to use actually with these 3 formulas. I am going to go ahead and hit my save button here once. All right, and there's my pump stands. So I'm just going to go ahead and back out. And again, we'll get into some of these other situations here with reporting and stuff and additional instructional pieces. I'm just focused right now on getting basic programming done on the Aurora and being able to deliver chemicals to my laundry machine automatically. I can either disconnect here with this bottom menu choice, or I'm actually going to go back one more, and there you'll see the disconnect again. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect this from my Aurora from the Bluetooth connection. All right, we got that done. Now we're ready to use it. That concludes our Aurora programming tutorial. If you have any questions about Aurora, contact your DEMA sales manager or customer service. If you found this video helpful, be sure to give it a like below. To stay updated on the latest videos and product information from DEMA, click the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.
DEMA, dispensing innovation.